The fourth stop in the GoThrowTour starts right now. The Kayak Point Showdown, brought to you guys by Prodigy Disc, is happening as we speak. You're watching the first round. I'm Luke Humphreys, joined in the booth by Matt Bell, and we got a doozy for you guys today. Right now on ProdigyDisc.com, they are offering $10 off with code GoThrow. And we can't thank Prodigy enough for sponsoring this coverage. Matt, we have a bomber course on our hands today. What are the players going to be looking at?
That's right. They're looking at over 10,000 feet through this 18-hole course, an incredible amount of elevation change where you're going to see shots airing out, completely trying to get as much distance as they can. And we're going to see some of the biggest par threes we've ever seen probably on coverage. So really exciting to see what these guys can do here.
Yeah, you're right. 600 plus foot par threes. Some of them gettable, some of them taking incredible achievements to even access that green. We got the brothers on our hands, Isaac Robinson, Ezra Robinson, both from Lawrenceville, Georgia, two of the hottest players on the planet. Both of them won on tour this year already. Probably contenders in this match. We've got a lot of pros at this Kayak Point Showdown, about a 60-person MPO field, so it's deep with touring pros, but these two guys definitely got a chance. Our third guy, Jake Hebenheimer, he really knows how to air it out.
He does. And these courses play like a mountain course, basically like you're playing on a ski resort.
Yeah.
So we'll see how the Robinson brothers do coming from Georgia. Adam Hammis, he's no stranger to courses like this coming from the toboggan land.
Yeah, it's not just going to be a mental test today. It's definitely a physical test. How far can you throw, and can you maneuver the hike and allow yourself some energy coming down that back nine, which is much more scoreable than the front. Starting off with one of those deep par threes, Matt.
Yeah, 605 feet downhill where if you turn it over, you can go anywhere. You can go 200 feet long. So definitely going to be important just to get within 200 feet here and make sure it's an easy par. If you're outside 200 feet, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
And that one's got the right shape to it. All these players are going to be throwing their most overstable disc they can that they think can get all the way there.
Getting a pretty good roll.
That's actually a great place to be. He can actually give it a run back up the hill and give himself a chance for birdie, and it's kind of stress-free for the par at that point. So
yeah,
pretty ideal.
Yeah. Out of the first roughly 55 players, there were only 2 birdies. So this is playing as a pretty tough hole right here, definitely over par. It's a speed control second shot if you don't land this drive close. I like that. Getting some turn out of the hand. It's so downhill, but you still got to pop it, get it flat.
Oh my gosh. Incredible shot. That should curl back, edge of circle.
Just showing you how steep it is.
Out of the capital city of Missouri, Jefferson City. You did not know that. Let's be honest. The bomber. This man crushes. You guys are going to enjoy it today. Give it up for Jake Hebenheimer.
Let's see if Jake can get inside of these guys.
Yeah, a little state capitals test. Jefferson City is the capital of Missouri, not St. Louis, not Springfield. It's one of those hard ones to get. Jake's going with a D2 here. And it's just too high. It's so downhill that the second you throw that disc high, it's hundreds of feet in the air. And so, yeah, about pin high.
Pin high left, yep.
From Wisconsin. This cheesehead is a bomber in his own right as well. He's forehand, backhand comboed up. Give it up for Adam Hammis.
And Jake's well inside that 200 feet mark where getting up and down should be pretty easy from there.
Yeah. Adam, already a champion on the Pro Tour this year, winning Waco, getting super clutch on 18's green.
Oh boy.
Join me, brother. Jake says, join me, brother. That's headed towards Jake's spot. Never really got it flat. There was some headwind on the tee, and I think some players were losing it right, as you kind of insinuated that might happen, and just protecting against that. So simple upshot from here if he makes it that, but it's definitely speed control based.
Nice little ridge they put the basket on. You see him hopping over it there. It's pretty hard to keep it on the pin. It usually bounces away a little bit, leaving a tester.
Kind of an evil pin position on that spine. Jake gets a pretty solid bid at a basket that, yeah, you're not supposed to bid at, but safely does it and leaves it close.
Yeah, incredible speed control, as you alluded to earlier. Whereas Isaac gives it a normal bid and
Dude rolls away. Actually saw that one in person. Slow rolled back down to like 50. So that's going to be a 3-putt for Isaac. Bogey to start. Ezra, way more uphill than it looked like he was from the tee. Just doesn't get it high enough. We saw a lot of pars from contenders on this hole. Really hard to get the birdie. And I think people are pretty okay with taking a par on this one.
yeah, you don't feel bad about taking a par typically, unless you are probably really close putting for birdie.
Yeah, just 2 birdies on the day. Parker Welk, Zach Nash, grabbing the only 2.
This is one of my favorite holes out here. The amount of air you have to throw it over in this valley is really makes the shot difficult.
Yeah,
it's hard to reach it.
A challenge. You got to keep the disc moving left to right late, which is really hard to do. It's kind of uphill late as well, so it's more than 435 shot, I feel like.
Yeah, a lot of players opting for the turnover. It is reachable with this great sidearm, and even saw a decent amount of rollers on this hole. All have birdie looks.
Yeah, it's fun to see all the different shot shapes. Ezra needed this one to continue to hold. I believe that was a Sagara from him, and it's way out wide. Jake's going with, looks like a D1 reblend. And he's just going super high roller. Is it? I believe it was a roller play. It's not that bad, really. It's not going to be a birdie, but it's a safe run at that basket if he wants to get a little frisky on a bid.
And here we got Adam lining up a backhand, it looks like.
Yeah, he really had a choice. Out of all these competitors, probably he and Jake having the forehand option. And wow, that thing getting all the distance. Putting back up the hill. Safe run. Safe spot to run from.
Yeah, it's extremely difficult to get it to turn all the way back to the basket without having it hyzer out at all on you.
Yeah.
And if it does, you're going to end up sliding left of the pin.
This looks good. Just got to find some ground. Man, straight over the basket. Oh, no. A skip into the nettles as well. Many of the par 3s here on the Gold Course, I would consider bonus par 3s. I think hole 16 is definitely one that you should get, but hole 1, hole 2, oh, nice little robin spin from Ezra. Hole 1 and hole 2 are definitely bonuses.
Absolutely. And hole 2 being one of the few holes that doesn't have a lot of consequence to it.
Right. This could be good. Oh, our angle is deceiving.
So you're not kicking yourself if you don't get this one.
No, the par start doesn't really hurt you. And that's what it appears it's going to be from this group. Other than Isaac's 3-putt. Dropping in for these guys.
Yeah, they're all wrapping up their pars as we look to hole 3, where we're going to have our first par 4 of the round.
Yeah. Beautiful property here out at Kayak. 3 courses and a putter course, plus a restaurant and a pro shop. It really is the disc golf resort. You can find them discgolfresort.com, get any information you want. And it's a beautiful place. Former ball golf course that's got massive old growth trees on it that make some of these shots just incredible, man.
Yeah, Destination Disc Golf up here north of Seattle. And there we just got a good look at the 3rd. And that straight gap that you watch the drone fly through, that is the biggest gap to get into the basket. if these guys throw in far enough around the corner, they're going to have their choice of some smaller gaps that are about 10 to 8 feet to get in to access this pin location.
Yeah. That's a huge shot from Ezra. It's going to set up that backdoor entry. If you fade out early, you set up a tunnel gap kind of over the sidewalk, which only plays as a river, not out of bounds. But this tee shot is really just like a max distance tee shot.
Yeah, I would imagine all these guys are opting to get as far as they can around the corner.
Jake's flexing back out into the woods, so he's going to have that gap shot. Looks like he's right on the path, so should be fairly easy. You really just want like 250, hyzer, skip back in off the path from there.
That really is the dream shot if you stay safe, because he might even have a little cheeky bit at it for 2.
Possibly. Oh, this is huge, too. This is one of the things that Adam Hames is best at. Doesn't really bust it out that often, but he hits angles, high distance angles, like nobody's business. He's been top 5 at USDGC distance comp a bunch of times, throwing 600 plus on exactly that line. Really knows how to hit angles up high.
Good angle.
Yeah, Adam said it great. Good angles from Isaac. Very similar to Jake, probably just 40 feet behind him.
Yeah, it's not bad at all to hyzer out as long as you get the distance these guys are getting.
Yeah.
If
So
you
he's just
turn
like,
it over all the way like this, you got a little blind gap shot to hit.
yeah, you just choose one of the entry spots right there. It's about 20 feet wide between those trees, and you just got to slide it in there. So this is the over the sidewalk shot we were talking about. Looking for about 250, and then hyzer it out. Yeah, that's a great bid. Little strong, circle's edge long, but that's really, I mean, all you can ask for on this course. Just get yourself circle 1 putts and try and make them. Jake just a little soft. Kind of went with that like half throw bid.
Which is what it takes to park this pin location, I feel like. Because if you do air it in there, it is going to scoot a little long. It's hard to get it to sit right there. And he's trying to leave himself without having to make a putt. And now he's got a 45-footer, it looks like.
Yeah. Adam, in a weird spot, having to go to a knee, hits the forehand gap perfectly. Good looking bid from Jake. Looked like Adam hit short though, yeah, so he's going to be about 45. See how his little stepper's looking today. No step. Strong standstill. Those are the misses I'm like kind of okay with. I mean, you're the putting champ. Was that a better miss? Are there better misses?
I don't think you ever want to miss low in a tournament. So, yeah, keeping it up there is not like the worst thing.
Yeah, hitting a little high on a dead center bid, you know, it shouldn't be something you try and adjust too much off of.
No. And like you said, he's typically a step putter. So, for him to stand still and still have enough power to hit the top like that is a good sign, I think, going into the rest of the round.
Yep. There we go. Bird from Ez. And a birdie from Isaac. And a couple of pars from Adam and Jake. Headed into 4, man. Here we go. Another 600 plus foot par 3. This one's definitely the trickiest of holes 1, 2, and 4.
Yeah, it's really hard to get a read on when you need that disc to fade. And
Yeah.
you're pretty much throwing it blind into that left tree line.
Yeah.
But everybody got a pretty good read on hole 1, and they should be able to make their adjustment for this shot.
Yeah.
Should see some get closer.
Which is even crazy to talk about being a possibility at 618. And the problem with getting the 2 here is that you also have to get the disc to hyzer. It's not just a max distance shot that you drag from left to right for multiple seconds. That thing has to have the air time to get back left, hyzer back over that path to get that putt. It really takes elite power.
It does. It's playing probably 70 feet downhill at least. And so I think to really get it there, you need about 550 worth of power, which is pretty much a perfect sacrifice shot down the hill
Yeah.
and have it fade left.
Right. Isaac's in a good spot. Gets it a full flight. He's probably 100 out or something. He'll have a stepper. Jake, he could get out there. This is a reblend D2. Dang, that's just low. What a line, though. Looks like it probably had the right line. Was actually going to hyzer there at the end. Very important to have the putt. And that one, about 150, 200. It'll be blind from there. Sets up weird.
Yeah, there are some trees protecting the green all the way up to the pin on the right. So if you don't get far enough, you kind of have to push it into those trees. And it's hard to commit to going around them all and coming back into the pin. So.
And from where he just went over that sidewalk, the basket's down another 20 plus feet. It really just dives down in there. So easy to overthrow. Oh, Jake landing at the base. Didn't have the focus there, but that was right under the basket.
Yeah, and that's the difference right there of having to go in front of that stump or behind it. You have trees in front, and it's clear behind them.
Isaac a little loose on that upshot. You heard him say that is so bad. He was actually not in Washington this morning. Flew in from Georgia, so he made a plane flight trip just to make it for this, and we appreciate him being here.
Might be all right.
Probably still shaking off some of that airplane rust.
Absolutely. He's trying to get grounded here on this putt.
There we go.
All right, that'll get him feeling better.
Yeah, makes up for a loose approach. That is so downhill, too. You see him just trundle down that hill. Ezra, one of the quickest players on tour. Like, Isaac's barely out of the screen, and he's, like, lining that thing up, ready to go. Doesn't waste much time. Beauty of that is you don't get in your own way.
Absolutely.
There we go. Nice edge of circle putts for all these guys, and now Jake's got about a 20-footer for his par. And that's what you're going to see here on hole 4. It's so hard to get yourself back left. We definitely have some people in the field that can achieve that. Gannon Burr, Eagle McMahon.
Hope you're enjoying the Kayak Point coverage. Prodigy Disc is happy to be the title sponsor of the GoThrowTour, and we're offering you $10 off your next order with code GoThrow10. Go to prodigydisc.com right now to check it out. You're back to watching coverage, and I'm back to work.
Yeah, Will's one of the hardest working guys in disc golf, former champion. Super stoked that he's got the reins over at Prodigy. Headed into 5. This hole is definitely one of the best out here, Matt.
Absolutely. You'll see probably the first time our players disking down to potentially some fairway drivers. We even see a mid-range here from Ezra.
Yeah, still 5'10", so you got to hit it hard. That's his mid-range. Believe it's a buzz, and he just really doesn't turn it that much, but it stays straight. And give himself a look.
Yeah, well, 40-footer maybe at the most. And
Talk about this green. How hard is it to run putts on this green?
oh, this green's incredible. It looks like it's at the top of a ridge, and you have what was sand bunkers short of it, and so you're, down in a depression, putting up at a ridge, so it's even more exposed than normal.
Yeah.
And then long of the pin, you've got these thick woods of northern Washington here, so that's why these players are disking down, making sure they're staying on target.
I like this one right here from Jake. Pushes that forehand out straight. Okay. It's probably 40, maybe 45 feet short. It's going to be that spot where you got to be careful on the bid. You don't want to have another comebacker.
Yeah, a lot of these greens out here on this course, you're feeling all the emotions when you're in mid-circle too. You're stoked that you have a birdie putt, but then you're, a a little worried knowing that the potential to get a 3-putt out here is very high,
Yeah,
especially on this green.
no kidding. We already saw Isaac Robinson with a 3-putt on 1. Smart play from Adam Ham. He's just laying up. See how frisky Jake's getting. Yeah, I'm guessing that he was shorter than we thought. Just kind of laying it up from there.
Much safer bid from Isaac after hole 1. He didn't want to do that again.
Yep. Here you go. A little left to right wind. A little bit of recoil there. Kind of felt like he didn't give it enough, is what he thought. Has plenty, slips in left side. And just like that, Ezra Robinson on his way.
Isaac showing the best feature of these Mach 7s where the upper links slide in. So those few inches up top are available on this basket, which allowed him to quickly clean up his par there.
Yeah. Everybody's short putting, looking really good, casual. They're not taking very much time, and it's just feeling very intuitive. Headed into hole 6. This is, again, a par 3 that is really just elite if you can access this one. It'd be on full hyzer, and you'd be landing about where this drone is flying over now, which would give yourself like a 60-footer in.
Yeah, and you absolutely want to try to do that because if you're short of pin high, your disc is coming into the steepest part of the slope, one of the steeper ones on the course. And so it's really important to get as much distance as you can to mitigate that rollaway factor off the tee here.
That's going to be such a far off shot. Just come back.
Ezra, that's the thing about the turning it over. You got to turn it over to get the distance, but each foot it turns right, it's harder to get back left. And that's pretty blind from down there.
Absolutely. It's really hard to commit to trying to get left because if you don't get it there, you're just really pinching yourself off from this angle.
Yeah, if you try to get left and don't really hit it, you end up pinched in no man's land. Hard to get around the corner. That's great there from Isaac. It's kind of what you're shooting for.
Yeah, if you want to get the good number, you throw it right to that sign.
I've heard a lot of pros this week talking about breaking this thing down. Excuse me. Not getting too frisky on the par 3s, making sure they get their pars there, but then getting the birdies on the par 4s. And oh no, Jake. Wow, this is going to create a very tricky shot. He did exactly what we said not to do. Tried to get a little left with it, ends up short. And it's going to be hard to not bogey from that position.
Yeah, you got to do your best to eliminate the miss on the inside on a hole like this because that's just going to lead to a lot of trouble.
That's a mash from Adam. Guy throws so far. Exactly where Isaac is looking, straight into the gap. It's a good spot to be. Now, Jake, I wonder if he's playing a skip shot. No.
I think that was sweet, yeah.
Yeah.
He's up there edge of circle. He didn't have much room to slip it under that canopy and get all the way to the basket with that mid-range. So he did really good getting to edge of circle there.
Yeah. I'd say that's a win, just giving himself a putt right there.
Absolutely. And the rest of these guys should all be able to get at least inside circle 1. Pretty stress-free from here.
Yeah, I've been watching the way Ezra's throwing these putters lately. He lines his foot up about a foot behind the disc and then moves into it at the last moment. Kind of short of it. It's not even a standstill, but it's also not like a run-up. He's got his own little thing going on.
Yeah, a little one-stepper into it.
Kind of. Yeah. It's like a half step. Timing thing, maybe. Dude. Jake. Wow, that is a really good par right there.
Yeah, he's left himself some putts out here to score on, and he's starting to connect, so nice to see.
Yeah, that's got to help build the confidence up. All these guys doing exactly what you're supposed to. Taking care of business, getting the pars.
Absolutely. Very confident putts for Ezra and Adam there from 25 feet, putting it low in the chains, right in the middle. Mitigating any spit out potential.
Yeah. Less bonus than the ones we've seen so far. This par 3 actually achievable. The ceiling off the tee matching the height of the basket is really the problem. You got to throw this thing hard and then get a skip, I think, to get it really up there by the basket, Matt.
Absolutely. The skip is the play here if you want to get it inside the circle. It's easy enough to air it to about that 45-foot mark, and then you got to pretty much rely on a skip to carry you the rest of the way.
Yeah, Ezra's going to be throwing this disc a lot. This is his signature disc this year. It's one of those confetti nukes. He plays that one super good.
Incredible. And you can see how he threw it pretty much as high as possible with nose up to get it all the way there and still needed a skip.
Isaac might have something to do with being the last guy into Washington here today. And Jake, he's got his signature disc in his hands, and he's going with a different route here.
Going roller?
Yeah, that's his Spectrum D1. And wow, flirting with out of bounds. I've never seen that shot thrown that good.
That was incredible. He got the full flight out of it.
Really don't see anybody go that route.
And he's in circle one.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, you take on a lot of danger off the tee, and then you're bringing that sidewalk into play a little bit more than these other guys are. About a 45-footer there from Adam. A little uphill. Should be an easy run. This, not an easy up and down now. He's still got a full par 3 to play right here with a tree in his face.
Yeah, having to take that disc and put a little angle on it. Couldn't just throw a straight up hyzer, so it makes it a little more difficult to hit the line.
Yeah, he'll have just outside circle for his par. He also flirted with that OB cart path, probably only a meter away. Yard, an American yard. Are we going to see the stepper now?
It looks like it.
Feels like it. Oh. That was like a Dirk Nowitzki just rained down from on high.
Absolutely.
Beautiful putt. Again, a little high in the chains. You'd love to see the confident bid, Matt.
Yeah, bringing it dead center. Really good pace on that putt.
Isaac just tickles the chains on his way by. Seems like he threw that one pretty quick. There we go, Jake. Nice bird from Jake.
That was incredible.
It's so casual. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That was like a circle's edge putt. It was probably like 28 feet.
Good drive.
Yeah, he really did a good job of making that look like a 15-footer.
No kidding. Very
But
casual.
that was quite a tester there.
Yeah, that was a nice little clinic. There are 3 birdies and an unfortunate bogey, but you don't see birdies on par 3s very often. 3 on a card means these guys are doing something right. Headed into a 648-footer. If the distance wasn't enough, it's a guarded green, Matt.
Yeah, we're looking at the most difficult par 3, I think, on the property. The last 150 feet has all this old growth forest, basically, you have to fly through. There is a route if you can get this thing to stand up and fly straight and hyzer at the very last moment. Otherwise, you're going to see people bail out left to have a pretty manageable sidearm approach to try and get their par.
Ezra throwing it right to our catch cam. Great position to get up and down easily from. Seems like this is Jake's furthest flying driver right now.
Come on, come on.
It's like a teal Reblin D2. These things crush.
Hey, that works. Not bad.
Looks like he got just in front of the trees, ended up left. great angles headed into the green from there. You can end up in some tricky positions if you just kind of throw it straight into the pile of trees. You want to be either left or right of it.
Yep. That's just fine.
Absolutely. As long as you get through the first couple of trees, it's pretty manageable. If you get knocked down right in the middle, you're going to be pretty blocked.
Yeah, at some point I'd love to see this one, I think, extended off the tee a little bit. That or push that green back. I don't know if you want to change the green, though. I think it's one of my favorite greens on the course, but having it be kind of that in-between route between a par 3 and a par 4. Look at Jake. This is a brand new putter from Prodigy. Club box putter, not even named yet, already in the air. Wow, just under the basket.
Yeah, really great shots from these guys. As you can see, they only have about 10 feet between these trees to maneuver their disc through, so being able to throw their putter is a big advantage. Get it straight through there.
Yeah, they both just laced it. That was so good. Adam's been throwing this thing for years. That's his glow zone. He doesn't stop. That's the one he aced at Waco with. I think from 200 feet and in, he can basically do that with his eyes shut. Robin spin from like 200 feet. You also know how to create a lot from a very similar kind of putter-like stance that you involve a little more of a throw in.
Yeah, getting a neutral angle on that putter to maximize the glide is really the key to being able to give it soft bids from 200 feet and not fly by. And so you can remain aggressive from that distance and give it a chance.
Yeah. Nice par from Jake there. And Isaac, wow, got himself another 23-footer for that bogey. High in the chains, he says, wow.
And just demonstrating what happens when you're off as a spin putter. You know you're going to have to make good comebackers on those days when you're not hitting perfectly, and he's stepping up and hitting all these comebackers, which, you know, a good spin putter will do that even when they're missing.
Yep. Nice little par from Adam, getting up and down. And the same from Ezra.
Absolutely. Adam taking advantage of his zone he's been throwing for years. It doesn't matter if he's 20 feet left throwing it or right on the pin. It's still going to be in the circle.
Yep.
Easy tap in.
Yep, right distance. Hole 9 starts with a bit of a gap shot. I love this aspect to this hole that we start in the woods. We work our way into the open with trees, but fair tests up by the green. This is a good hole, man.
It's my favorite design on the property, honestly. If you want to get aggressive and go through the straight shot, it sets up for a very simple mid-range throw up the hill. If you want to go right side through the bigger gap, then you're going to be forced to throw a little tougher second shot. And I think the risk reward is perfect on this hole.
Yeah. Ezra going full rip down the gap, same disc. He's been throwing that same thing all day, his new signature. I like this from Jake. Going forehand.
And it's set up where these guys are still going to have chances to try and salvage a birdie from there.
You're right.
If you get a little gap, you can get a driver up there, no problem.
Yeah. The front 9, every single hole played over par, but this one was the easiest at only .06 over par. Crazy to think, every single hole thus far.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to getting clean off the tee. If you get outside of these trees, whether you're going straight or laying up to the right, you can be much more deliberate with that second shot and really set yourself up for a pretty easy birdie.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to be having to scramble for one.
Jake's throwing a forehand here that would take 450 feet of power to pull off.
Turn it, Jay.
Really just didn't get it turned. He'll still have a putt up there, though. Probably about 40, maybe 50. Another green on a little plateau. As you mentioned earlier, easy to 3-putt at this course. And Isaac straddled out to the right. It's an uncomfortable position.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to do a patent pending with his feet there and just didn't get his arm around on that throw. But looks like he's going to clean it up for a par. Very nice shot there.
Yeah, no problem, Isaac. All right, Ezra also didn't get out of the woods. Ended up in a great spot, though. Open shot, going straight fairway.
Yeah, opting to go straight at the pin and unfortunately catches one of those guardian trees. They are tough to be accurate through. You got to throw a good shot.
They're just perfectly spaced up there. Fair, but looming. And I like this. Going side door at it. Little deep from Adam. It'd be a bit of a scary putt. But definitely inside the circle. Should be good from him. I bet that's Ezra behind that tree right there. And one more Robin spin. Got to get that counter going. Jake, this is a hard one to fully bid.
He's going for it.
Landing them flat, really key. If you're going to do that long bid thing, you can't let it hyzer out at the end. You either got to anhyzer it out of the hand or really keep the spin level high.
Yeah, it looked like Adam almost was trying to do the same thing, getting a little flatter, and when you overdo it, that's when you pull it to the right there. So we're seeing that from Jake and Adam here.
He's got a jumper coming back. That's how quick it happens.
Absolutely, trying to make those little adjustments in real time. It's tough to do out here in a tournament situation, and you're seeing it from some of the best players in the world right now.
There we go. Pars for the brothers.
We're also having the wind pick up a little bit here halfway through the round, so it's definitely a factor as well out here on these greens.
Okay, you were sensing that? You felt it pick up a little bit. I noticed that a couple days ago that the morning wind here in Washington, not as big as the afternoon wind. We're pretty close to the water. Probably something to do with that. Beautiful mountains in the background as we look at these front nine scorecards. Two different stories for the Robinson brothers. 1-3 under in Ezra, 1-3 over in Isaac. Jake getting it under par right there. And Adam Hammies with a 3-putt on hole 9 gets himself back to even par. Looking at the scoreboard, wow. Smoking hot pace from Carter Aarons. Once was a local here before he moved to the Nashville area. Just recently has won multiple tournaments at this course. A ton of confidence here. I was talking to him and his dad about that record, and they both know that he's got the most experience on the property, so he's playing with a head full of confidence.
Absolutely. I actually had the pleasure of playing with Carter today, and that 7 under came with a couple of birdie looks that he didn't capitalize on. So playing near perfect there on the front nine.
Yeah, and eagling hole 10, 699 feet. That's the hole that our players are going to have a chance to play when we get back for that back nine. We got the brothers, Hammies, Jake Hebenheimer, and a GoThrow event to figure out. Thank you guys for joining us. This is the Kayak Point Showdown, the 4th stop in the GoThrowTour, brought to you guys by Prodigy Disc. Use code GoThrow10 at Prodigy Disc for $10 off your order, and we'll see you guys on that back nine.